Welcome back to Stay Tuned. I'm Tony Angelo. Today we are going to get our hands on probably the nicest car we've ever seen. We always buy rough, rugged project cars, but today my buddy Brenden bought the crispiest, cleanest, most low-mile C4 I've ever even heard about or seen pictures of. I'm so excited. He's on his way. He will be here any minute. Sick. So good. This is a 27,000 original mile, one owner.
Oh, it was a long ass drive.
Yes, sir. How we doing?
We made it.
How we feeling?
Great.
Oh man.
Oh, that was
worth it.
Welcome back to the fun side.
What do you think?
Yeah. I think it's sick, dude. Look at this thing.
Oh my
haven't even
God,
looked in
red
here yet.
dot.
Jeez.
And
It's so
looked.
good. It is wild. Digital dash. What? The best. Did you see that? This is the best part about a C4.
oh, brother.
Jeez. So yeah, this is Brendan's 78, 77,
78
F250 camper special super cab that's actually sitting on a 97 Ram 3500 frame. So it's the entire thing is a 12 valve Cummins truck. Just looks like an old Ford. And it had been sitting for years. We built this 10 years ago and we revived it 3 months ago.
Yeah, July.
And you took it home, and within a month, he started hitting me up being like, I think I want to get a muscle car. And I was like, that's the right idea. You should definitely get one. Let me tell you a little about Brenden Jones and his muscle car history. So years ago, obviously Mikey, me, and Brenden all lived together in Brooklyn with a couple other buddies. Mikey had a Dart at that point. I had like an RX-7 and motorcycles, but we're getting back into hot rods, and Brenden wound up buying a 69 Satellite, like Roadrunner clone. Super clean, orange, 4-speed, 440 with Indy heads, a big carburetor, big cam in it. It was very clean. He got a great deal on it, and he just started like making it better. You know, shocks, springs, disc brakes in the front, just made it so good. It was such a good car, and eventually he sold it. He bought a Tesla. Boo this man! Which is what he drives. He's been driving every day for the last couple of years. And we recently dragged his old Ford, which is a 78 Ford F250 body swap onto a Dodge Ram 3500 12 valve Cummins rig. We dragged it out of his mom's farm, got it fired up, and I think we ignited a little bit of a spark back in him because he took the truck home. He drove it right to North Carolina, no hiccups at all. And it's one of the coolest rigs ever. And I think within a week, he's like, hey, I'm thinking about getting a muscle car again. And I was like, that's the right idea. And this is not what I pictured. This is not it. I was like, oh, I'll send you some dusters, man. Send you like a couple $5,000 dusters.
Yeah,
we'll get back on the road. Put a small block in it or something. Get a Mopar, get rocking.
But I've loved the C4. Like I feel like it suits me.
I think it does suit you. Yes.
And I wanted something that I could drive a little more often than that Roadrunner was just like,
yeah.
It was always something.
I feel like you're gonna have to start smoking cigarettes or something.
Oh, absolutely.
Really
Virginia
go
Slims,
for
I think. Maybe Cools.
How many cutoff jeans do you have?
Not
The
enough.
answer's not enough. Not enough for this car. And we've just gone through this. Like, how nice of a car do you buy? Try not to buy the worst version, the worst example of a car if you can afford a better one. You'll just be up and running sooner. This is the first time I've ever seen anybody buy the nicest version I've ever seen of a car. This is a 27,000 mile C4. This is like the closest thing you're gonna feel like to driving around a brand new 86 Corvette. Beautiful.
Custom 2x4.
So wild. It is legitimately, I'm so excited to be looking at a C4 Corvette that my brain doesn't work. I don't understand what's happening. You know, a C4 Corvette, again, is like,
Also because it's the nicest
it's
one
the
you've
nicest
probably
one I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So you were like, I'm thinking about getting a C4, and everyone's like, that
So-
sounds good. You've got a mullet. Like,
Yeah.
that'll be perfect. Like, we're in. And then our buddy Lindsay enters the chat.
And he was just like, if you're gonna get one, this is the one you gotta get. Like,
It was on Bring a
okay.
Trailer. This is the deal. It is a 6-speed red interior, 27, well,
4+3.
4+3, whatever you want to call it. The Doug Nash 4+3, you know, 1986, tune port injection, manual, red interior, black Corvette with 27,000 miles on it. Mint. One owner.
Yeah.
Why? Which I didn't even know until later. But it was, he's like, I'm gonna start bidding. He was like, I'm doing it. We're getting this car. I'm like, how did we get in here? Anyway, yeah, talk about it.
Yeah,
Talk about what happened next.
I was like,
Because I'm staring at this car. It's here now.
I didn't really like, I was literally working and I was half paying attention. And he was like, when should I stop? And then he was like, oh, this guy who's bidding is an amateur. I'll show him how it's done. And he won the auction.
Yes.
And I was like, okay.
You bought it for $14,500.
Yeah.
Which is nuts. But then I think like,
It's almost brand new.
It's brand new. You can't buy another one like it. I doubt it at this price. I did dig around a little bit. The later cars with the ZF 6-speeds are a little more, but the early cars, like, you're just not gonna find one this nice. You can buy a lot of C4s for $5,000,
Yeah.
but they're all pretty banged up. They all need a bunch of work. All the interiors are trashed. So to buy this car is nuts. And what I'm excited about is like, oh, I wanna drive this thing. I wanna see what it's like, because everything we get is so either cobbled together or someone else's project or been ripped through and run through, that it's got nothing to do with the original car. This is basically like a time machine 1986 Corvette.
Yeah, her husband bought this for her 40th birthday.
Yeah.
She's 77 now.
She's 77.
37 years.
This is a one owner ladies Corvette.
Yep.
And her husband bought it for her 40th birthday in 1986. She's had it the entire time. She put all 27,000 miles on it.
Yep.
Click the link to check out the Stay Tuned merch store. We've got shirts, hats, and
Fresh, new, stay tuned crew necks. It's getting cold, and it's also gift giving season. The holidays are coming up. This is a perfect way to say, I love you, and I know what you think is cool. Hot rods. Buy a shirt. Or like buy yourself, listen, buy yourself a shirt. Alright, so a 1986 TPI Corvette. It's 230 horsepower, 330 pound-feet of torque. I got no idea how fast it goes to anything, but it feels pretty good.
No, I didn't look it up.
It's running smooth.
This is my first drive. Mine is down this woman's driveway.
All right, let's get it.
Yeah, it's got torque.
It goes 40-something miles an hour in first gear.
Oh,
Is that what it said?
Yeah.
I mean, I would have thought this was a spaceship in 1986.
Oh, gosh, right? Can you imagine?
It would have, like, looking out over those pop-up lights, the wild interior, the glass, like, it goes right up into the glass. This is cool.
Well,
It's got brakes, right? All right. Oh, wow. Woo!
not bad, right?
Some neutrals, like, handling right there. Turned in and, like, went for it. Wow. Yeah, this thing is awesome. Right? It's awesome. I can't wrap my brain around spending 14 grand on a C4 or most anything. But I'm like, if you're, this is, I get it. I get why it costs this much. It's just, like, it's brand new.
Well, I mean, just imagine how much you would spend if you bought a $6,000 C4, but you wanted it to be nice like this.
Yeah. This is so good. I'm really surprised at how direct the steering is.
The steering feels really good.
Wow, really good. Yeah, I was like, oh, it's so quick. It feels, you know, I hear like little rattles and stuff, but I think it probably did that brand new.
All right, we are in my garage today working on Brendan's C4 Corvette. Guys are back at the shop working on some other stuff. I brought this thing home to do a little paint correction on it, and we're going to be throwing some of this Avalon King's ceramic coating on it when we're done. I've ceramic coated a bunch of cars before. I'm really excited to get into this one. So the first step in a paint correction is to do a clay bar. That's what I always do, especially if you hear like this. You can hear there's just like surface contaminants. We're just gonna use some clay bar lube and a clay bar, which is literally just a piece of clay. Spray it down. And you just rub the clay bar back and forth over it. And it just pulls out all the surface contaminant. And this is the first step really to any paint correction. You can see all the dirt that it pulls off of it. And I wiped this thing down beforehand, so the paint was, you know, as clean as it could be. There's a lot of surface contaminant. So we're gonna take all that out and we're gonna buff the car afterwards. But first we're gonna clay bar the whole car and then we'll come to the next step. So the whole car has been clay barred. I've masked off all the trim with blue painter's tape. We are ready to rock here. I'm just gonna start polishing. I don't wanna compound this. It's really very smooth and there's not too many imperfections in it. So I'm just using a little bit of polish on a pretty soft pad, and I'm gonna do a test spot here and kind of just see how it looks. We'll go from there. I'm gonna rip around the whole car now and get this thing done. And when I say rip, I mean take the next 4 hours to do it, but for you, it'll be ripping around. So let's do it. All right, so this whole thing is completely buffed out now. I had to go from the polish to the compound just because there were some deeper scratches. It looks like a cat was crawling kind of on the deck lid back here. We got all the scratches out. It looks absolutely killer. I cannot believe how shiny this car is, given that it's this many years old, 30, 40. I'm not good with quick math. It looks killer. So the next step for this thing is going to be to put the ceramic coating on it from Avalon King. I'm going to take the tape off, clean up a couple of things first, maybe do the wheel wells, clean the wheels a little bit, and then we'll get onto the ceramic coating.
Okay, the C4 Vet is looking killer. Barb finished up the paint correction, which means he did a little bit of compound and then polished the whole thing out. It looks awesome. Got rid of any kind of small swirl marks and scratches, and then wiped it down with this IPA solution. So there's no impurities or anything on there. It's just bare clear coat because we're gonna ceramic coat this thing so that it looks really killer for a really long time. And what's awesome is that these guys, Avalon King, reached out to us because they have a brand new killer ceramic coat that you can do at home. We are not professionals. Barb is much closer than I am on any of the paint stuff, but this is their Armor Shield Max brand new ceramic coat kit. It's awesome. It's only got a 4-hour cure time, and if you don't know anything about buffing, like, you know, paint, polishing, anything, you can still figure it out because I'm gonna do it. So this is the kit, believe it or not. This is not a fancy cologne. This is all you need. Comes with these gloves, this little pad, and this little bottle of magic right here. And this is enough to do a smaller mid-sized car. I've been told. It's very straightforward and I'm super excited about it. First thing you're gonna do is shake it up. And this vet is so sick that, like, this is my boy Brenden. I don't have to, like, you know, worry about keeping the wax perfect. So we'll ceramic coat it. It'll be one more awesome thing we can do for him so that he can just keep on rocking and partying and having fun with this car. I'm just gonna get enough on here to cover this bad boy so we have even coverage. And then there we go. It's just wiping it back and forth, making sure you overlap a little bit. And I'll come side to side here. And it does dry as a hard coating, so you gotta make sure you don't miss anything. You can actually do like your shower or your bicycle or anything, and it will still wind up fully protected for up to 3 years, which is killer. And what's cool about this is it's only a 4-hour cure time also, because Brenden is getting on a flight in like 7 hours. Okay, feel good about that. And then you do one section, let it sort of haze up, and then we're gonna wipe it. Cool. All right, so you let it sort of haze up so it looks like oil on top of water. You see those little streaks there, and then you're just gonna level it with this cloth that they provide, which already makes it look awesome. I think I might like C4 Corvettes, like legitimately. And I'm just gonna come through and kind of buff this section. Dang, that's good. This is wild, this tiny little thing does it. And what's cool is me as a person who's definitely never done any of this kind of stuff before can do this whole car in about an hour. And that is killer, because that's about as much as my attention span will provide. I'm gonna do a little bit bigger spot here. And you see I'm not taping anything off, because you can actually do all of the hard surfaces on your car. You can do the lights, you can do the turn signals, or the tail lights, any hard surface. You can do the glass if you want. You can do your shower glass at home. We're just gonna blaze through this. And luckily Barb has like all of this nice light in here, so I can see what I'm doing. Okay, so me and Barb are gonna jump on this. This is going very straightforward. This is gonna be the slickest Corvette around. Yeah, Avalon King. This product is sweet. They're sponsoring the channel. They're sponsoring this episode. We appreciate it. We're gonna keep on rocking. We're gonna blaze right through this. I'm gonna just do the whole emblem here. You can do whatever. There it is. Okay, it's been like 90 minutes. We've got the Avalon King clear coat on this thing, and it looks absolutely killer. And it's sort of hard to tell, but guess what? This is the reflection of the car. It's bananas. We're gonna show you the whole thing later, but now we're gonna put in this retro sound stereo and get this thing ripping some killer tunes and get that clunky Jensen out of there. Okay, so this car has a minty original interior. The one glaring exception is this Jensen. Like I said, it's gray, everything else is black. It's kind of like weird and chunky 90s vibes. It's got a cassette and a CD player. That's coming out, the retro sound that looks original but has Bluetooth and a proper amp and has hands-free, like, you know, phone calls, all that stuff is gonna go in there. So I'm gonna pull this trim unit out, hopefully not break anything because it's 35-year-old plastic, and wire it right in. And I don't know yet, but I hope that they didn't cut up the factory harness. Okay, so looking closely, there are a couple of small cracks in this thing already. I'm just gonna do my best not to make it any worse and make sure it all goes back together. Nice. Hey. Moment of truth here. There's like a big old looks like they did it. We might be in business here. Nice. This is what you want to see. Nice, respectful wiring. Solid job. So I can just unplug this, and this is the factory wiring. It'll plug right in. The adapter harness we have will plug right in here. Just gonna cut this apart. Well, okay, it's not perfect. This has a lot of electrical tape, but it's fine. It'll be fine. They didn't cut anything up. Looks like, I mean, it's gonna work. All right, so this plugs into the Corvette. This plugs into the retro sound stereo, and this would have gone into like an earlier GM. So they have like an actual adapter harness, but then they're giving you this, and I'm gonna have to put these two together. No big deal. It'll take me a minute. I'm gonna cut it a little bit shorter because I feel like just trying to get a little bit of length out of here. Get these all stripped back, get ready to crimp them together. There's a little bit of fishy wiring going on in the harness of the car. There's some red wires being used as speaker wires, and it looks like they've got some common grounds going together. I think I'm just going to emulate what they've got and not question it. Okay, I've got my little harness made up. That goes to the factory dimmer thing and provides power. This goes into the back of the retro sound. This picks up the rest of the factory wiring harness. And I have these two randomly. They have the speaker grounds, the ones with the tracers going kind of all over the place. They have two married together here, and then they have some red wires they might have just had to rerun. I'm going to just assume they knew what they were doing and that Jensen was working fine, and I've just copied it all into my harness here. So we'll see how it goes. It's late. I'm tired. I want to get rocking. So this is the purple one. I have enough wire to extend this out here. Get rid of whatever kind of shady connection was underneath that. Give it a proper crimp. Have some heat shrink on it. Be ready to plug this in 2 seconds. Okay. Rock and roll. Let's do it. Okay, so now what's nice is all the rest of the harness has not been all goofed with. Should plug right into this thing. Good. Okay. Got a little shove back in there. There's quite a bit of room. Should we try it? Let's try it. Antenna's going up. Radio's turning on. There you go. Some cool, smooth jazz. All right, rock and roll. Well, not exactly. Smooth jazz, we're in business. All right, I'm gonna button it up. Let's go. It's like 1:30 in the morning. Here we go. A couple screws and we're goodbye. That's what I'm talking about. Sick.
Dang.
All right, a couple screws will be in business.
That looks killer.
Yeah, I'm stoked. It looks awesome. It's a really good fit. I can't wait to peel that thing off the front. That protective display covering, that's the greatest day of my life every time. I get to do that. Microwaves, refrigerators, let me add them. If you're one of those lunatics that doesn't take that off, we do not see eye to eye about life. I can tell you that right now. People that are like,
So sad.
I'm never taking that off. I'll just never do it. And I'm like, psh.
Refrigerator's the mother lode.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Get roll. Good. Okay, here we go. Ooh, that's good stuff. It's awesome. All right, that looks killer. We are done with the upgrades at Barb's house. We're gonna head over to the shop, make this thing a little bit louder, a little bit faster, and get ready for Brenden to come and take his car home. Very excited about this whole project. C4 Corvettes, super killer. I'm gonna miss it. I'm gonna miss it already. Hey, rock? Yep. Cool. Okay, we've got Brendan's car back to the main shop. It is shining and looking incredible. That Avalon King Max ceramic coating is on there protecting the paint. We want to do a couple of upgrades to just crank this thing up a little bit, sound and fury wise. He wants a little more sound out of it. The exhaust is kind of rusty anyway. He wants a little more pep out of it, so this is the plan. We are gonna put on a Flowtech axle back exhaust system. It looks pretty rad. It's got 4 tips on it. It's gonna fit the vibe perfectly. We got an intake system with an open filter setup that should be louder and allow, you know, maybe 10 horsepower into this thing. So it'll, you know, for one quick half day of work, it's gonna transform this thing quite a bit. And I know he'll be stoked when he gets here because basically everything he wants to do to this car will be done. Now let's get cracking. So just to see the kind of change and the kind of attitude we're gonna add to this thing, here's a little rev up sound clip of the way it sounds, basically bone stock. Ready for it?
Yep.
You know, it does something. We're gonna make it better. Cool. All right. So this is the back of the Corvette. It does look very clean under here. It is exhaust manifolds into a Y, 2 cats up front, big cat in the middle here. So single, it's like, you know, 2 into 1, back into 2. We are only doing the axle back just to get some sound and some looks out here. Should be nice and straightforward. I got some PB Blaster in my hand. I'm hitting a couple other spots. This car has the Z51 handling package, so it's got these Bilsteins, but there's a little bit of crust on some different bolts, so I'm just, in case Brenden ever has to work on it, I'm hitting them with PB, so they'll loosen up over time. Okay, so yeah, you see, these things are ready to retire. Just like the lady who bought this thing in '86, I bet, by now. Grab this guy.
Those nuts are like, we know it's time to come out.
They're like, we're happy.
We're ready.
Yeah. Your watch is over, fellas.
You had a good run.
Oh, yeah. The best. My concern is we do need to keep this Y pipe intact. It doesn't really look like this one's too bad. But it's, you know. I feel like normally on this show we would just hacksaw this off and then build something wild, but
This is a Corvette.
it's weird to be working on something that we're trying to keep intact. Just do a nice little tasteful upgrade. Tasteful upgrade and stay tuned. Not things really go together.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Hold on. Get
Remember
my
that
hammer.
Sawzall we were talking about?
Here she comes.
Here she comes.
Oh, here she comes.
Why don't you just start here, whack this off, and then maybe grind across it.
Excuse me, sir. I have a question for you.
What's up?
How does it feel to be the first person to touch this car with a Sawzall?
Pretty good. It feels pretty good. I knew I had to get in there and not hack anything up. Feel like we got it done. I want to thank my sponsors, DeWalt, Stanley Craftsman, everybody involved. Really, it comes down to my team, right? They put a good tool in my hand that allowed me to win. It's a team effort out here, guys. From the crew chief on down. It's awesome.
Uh-oh, more?
More. Let's cut it up more.
Ooh.
Just cutting the area that's got the crimp in it so it can expand. There she is. Untouched. Probably scotch right that. Slide one on. Thank you, Waylon Jennings. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Cool. This is the Flowtech axle back setup. Fully TIG welded, full stainless. Looks better. Should sound better. It's clearly straight through. We'll see how she fits. Oh, that's much better. Good? Yeah. Watch your eyes. There we go.
Yeah, it came right out.
How about that? There she is. Okay. Got something on there?
Yeah.
Dial.
Gotta go clockwise slightly. More. A little bit.
There?
Clockwise. A little bit less.
Less? Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I do see it.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we gotta get these clamps on.
It's gotta
You
go.
Let's tighten it to the top. But I think there might be some wiggle on. Well, I guess let's keep it in the left. That is pretty good.
That looks sick.
These are serious clamps. We probably should put these on. All right, I'm gonna put a little slit in the back here. Same thing as we talked about. The front already has, just so that the clamp can actually work. Got it tight. That's it. Now when you tighten it down, it'll clamp it a little bit better than it would normally. We have this rotated out of the way of the leaf spring. Go ahead. Hit.
That's better.
There she is. Okay, obviously we want to get the tips dialed perfectly so that this thing will still loosen the back up. Oh. It's gotta get tight first.
Yeah, tighten those.
Tighten the hanger and then we'll do it. Mm-hmm. Good deal. All right, after some messing around with the exhaust angles, everything, getting it tightened up. The factory bumpers were sagging a little bit, so we spaced down the hanger bracket. I think it's as good as it's gonna get. It looks killer, especially compared to this annihilated old rusty one on this side. Let's get the other one done. We'll give them a quick wipe down and call it a day. There it is. Yeah, looks like we've done that before. A little scotch spray on this thing, get rid of all the crust. Which way you got this thing going?
Towards the back.
Up and in, drop that on. Slide this thing on, I gave it a couple of small slots, cut into it. So it'll grab with the clamp. So. All right, I'm I'm gonna very gingerly lift this very heavy hood. Get that. Free-flowing intake setup we've got dialed into place. So that means it's a pretty cool setup. I didn't want to mess with any of this stuff. You can get like that big honking kind of like oval flat filter to go on there, but the car is basically stock. I just want a little more noise, a little more flow. So I went with a K&N replacement high flow filter and a kind of more open airbox lid, which I'm sure will give you some noise. And it kind of reminds me when I went at 8-valve Volkswagens when I was teenagers. The CISE unit sits on top, and you know, everything under the filter we would just drill giant holes in so that there was just like a skeleton left. Boy, it felt fast. Took us from 108 to a serious 110 horsepower. It was sick. Yeah, we were street demons back then. So that was actually after I had a proper hot rod. Like 2 years after I had my actual demon. But you can see where we're going with this. It's got to breathe through those little slots or this giant hole. Plus you're looking at just a regular paper filter that looks gross, getting replaced by this free-flowing K&N unit. It's going to be better. Sweet. Okay, so this is the whole unit. We got this air filter surround from Top Flight Automotive. It was like 65 bucks. That plus this filter brings you around $100 for a pretty sweet upgrade, which is cool. Ready? And just put my hand around the bottom, make sure it's seated in properly. It looks great, fit awesome. One last turn for good luck. Yeah, there it is. All right, a sweet little upgrade. Okay, bang. All right, brush myself off, fire this thing up, so you hear how it sounds. You ready?
Yep.
Got a little more bark to it, and those will burn in a little bit. Open up a little. Does a little snap back. I can hear that. Boom, boom. Yeah, I can hear it. Little intake honk. Oh, I can already hear it. It sounds awesome. Definitely better. All right, it's a little bit of transformation right there. I'm stoked. He'll be pumped. And finding out that exhaust was already falling apart, total win. Brenden is hopping on a plane in the morning, so we want to get it dialed in. He'll be here by 9 o'clock. I want to make sure it's fully transformed. This is our actual lose the shop moment. This is the only time we ever like surprise anybody or get anything done. But for him, we're gonna do it. We don't get this Corvette done, we're gonna lose the shop. Or like he'll get here and then we'll have to do it in front of him and that'll be awkward, you know? So I'm gonna keep on rocking. All right, it's the next morning. We've got Brendan's vet back at the main shop, ready to wipe it down. My man is on his way. His first flight was canceled. So we stayed up till 2 o'clock in the morning for nothing. No big deal. The one thing is it's gonna rain a little bit later, so I wanna take this thing out and see how it does, get those driving impressions. Zach's back in the car. Flowtech exhaust is on there. Axle back, it does have a little more bark. The intake, just even the panel filter and the airbox being opened up makes it better. Retro sound thing is looking cool. And we're gonna give this thing just a little workout real fast. You know, it's gonna probably be all wet on the roads when it gets there, which is cool because we got that ceramic coating. It'll just beat right off. Ooh, there she is. And a little sound right there.
Sounds good.
Bon Jovi's playing it, just knows. All right, we can't afford Bon Jovi.
No, definitely.
Certainly cannot.
back now. Go pick up Zach, take it back, and a quick wipe down and get ready for Brenden to arrive.
Yo, Tony! It looks so good.
Yeah,
My Corvette?
it's pretty great, right? We did a couple extra things you wanted to do.
You did the exhaust and the paint. It looks so sick.
Yeah, bump the horsepower up.
How many is that?
Oh, it's like 250
A
now,
lot,
probably.
A lot. Wow, thank you so much, man.
Yeah, well, you've been such an awesome friend for so many years, man. I just appreciate you. I want you to have the C4 Corvette of your dreams.
Oh my God.
You're the best, man.
This is sick. Thank you so much, Tony. It's me, Brenden.
This thing was perfect when I picked it up.
Yeah, it's
but
more perfect now.
way more perfect now.
It's so good. You're lucky it's raining because I would have made you do a big hellacious burnout, but drive safe. Text me when you get there. It's going to go 530 miles or so. The best. See those headlights? The best. Oh yeah. So good. All right. That's it for this episode of Stay Tuned. That felt really good to do a nice thing for my buddy. That car is incredible. I still don't know if it's a good buy or a bad buy, but it's awesome. 27,000 mile absolute time capsule Corvette. Blew my mind to even drive it or get our hands on it. It's so cool. I don't know. See you guys next time.